4 a.m. Lansing, Michigan sleeps in deceptive peace. Kim Miller stares at her cold coffee, unaware that her quiet shift is about to explode into chaos. The police switchboard sits silent until it doesn't. The call pierces the night like a scream. A woman's terrified voice crackles through static before the line goes dead. Kim's blood turns to ice. Something is catastrophically wrong. Police cars tear through empty streets, sirens wailing their urgent song. 4 minutes feels like an eternity. The house looks innocent from the front. Behind it, violence has left its signature. The back door hangs twisted off its hinges. Glass shards scatter across the porch like deadly confetti. Inside, the horror awaits. Audrey Nichols lies motionless on her bathroom floor. 67 years old, retired Michigan State Police analyst. 17 years serving justice, now its victim. A single bullet wound to her head tells the story of her final moments. The scene reconstructs itself in Detective Sarah Chen's mind. Audrey heard the intruder, grabbed her phone, barricaded herself in the bathroom. But he followed. He heard her calling for help. When she turned away from the inevitable, he pulled the trigger. For what? $100. Drug money. A life extinguished for pocket change. Chen surveys the carnage with trained eyes. The killer was inside for minutes. No ransacking, no prolonged search. Brutal efficiency driven by desperate need. But criminals always leave something behind. The forensics team descends like scientific predators hunting invisible prey. In the kitchen, they find a smudged fingerprint, too damaged for identification. Among the scattered glass, they discover something far more promising. Aurora pink powder transforms the invisible into evidence. Under forensic lighting, a heel print glows on the linoleum floor. On a glass shard, enhanced with superglue fumes, appears the toe impression of the killer's right shoe. Together, they form nearly a complete footprint, a roadmap back to murder. The soulmate database becomes their weapon of choice. Thousands of shoe patterns from around the world wait to reveal their secrets. The computer churns through endless possibilities until it delivers its verdict: Spalding tennis shoes. But Chen knows one detail won't solve a murder. She needs the actual shoes, the specific pair that walked through Audrey's blood and shattered glass. Without them, the case could vanish into the cold files, leaving a killer free to strike again. Fate intervenes with cruel precision. Officers respond to another break-in just blocks from Audrey's house. They tackle a young man fleeing the scene, and he's wearing Spalding tennis shoes. Glass fragments glitter in the treads like incriminating diamonds. Kent Embry, 25, with a history written in petty theft and burglary. Could this be their breakthrough? Forensic analyst Amy Michaud works through the night, her transparent overlays revealing the brutal truth. The sizes are wrong. The wear patterns don't match. This isn't their killer. The investigation crashes back to square one. 4 months of dead ends. 4 months of a killer walking free. Then salvation arrives from the most unlikely source: a handwritten letter from a prison cell. Carl Headley, serving time for unrelated charges, reaches out to the district attorney with information that makes Chen's pulse race. Details about Audrey's murder that were never released to the public. Details only the killer would know, or someone the killer confided in. Headley's cellmate, 22-year-old John Skinner, had bragged about the perfect crime. How he found the old woman in the bathroom calling for help. How he knocked the phone from her hand. How when she looked at his face, he shot her to eliminate the witness. No Spalding shoes in his prison belongings. No matching fingerprints. The case teeters on the edge of collapse once again. Chen refuses to surrender to defeat. In a last desperate gambit, she tracks down Skinner's mother. Racing to her home, ironically less than a mile from Audrey's, Chen holds her breath as they search his childhood bedroom. There, hidden among forgotten memories, sit a worn pair of Spalding tennis shoes. Back in the laboratory, Michaud positions the shoes against her crime scene overlays one final time. The moment of truth arrives as the patterns align with scientific perfection. Every scratch, every accidental marking, every unique characteristic matches flawlessly. The shoes fit like a signature written in blood. The interrogation room becomes a theater of psychological warfare. Skinner sits across from Chen, his cocky demeanor intact until she slides the forensic photographs across the metal table. The images show his shoe prints glowing under ultraviolet light like neon signs spelling out his guilt. His eyes dart from the photos to Chen's face, searching for weakness, for doubt, for any crack in her certainty. He finds none. He stammers that the shoes could belong to anyone, but his voice betrays him. The mathematical precision of forensic science has no room for lies. Chen explains how every shoe tells a unique story through wear patterns, accidental cuts, and microscopic damage. His Spaldings had walked through Audrey's life and death, leaving an indelible signature that no amount of denial could erase. The weight of inevitability settles over the room like a suffocating blanket. Skinner's hands begin to shake as the reality crashes down. Science has built an unbreakable chain of evidence linking him to murder. Faced with irrefutable proof, Skinner's bravado crumbles. He asks about fingerprints, still hoping for an escape route that doesn't exist. Chen responds with quiet certainty. She has his prints, not fingerprints, but something far more damning. Footprints that place him at the scene with mathematical precision. His lawyer sits silent, knowing no legal maneuvering can argue with physics and chemistry. The evidence doesn't lie, doesn't forget, doesn't have ulterior motives. The confession pours out like poison from an infected wound. Skinner's voice breaks as he describes that October night. How he chose Audrey's house at random, drawn only by its darkness and isolation. How his desperate need for drug money transformed him from petty thief to cold-blooded killer. He recounts the moment Audrey's eyes met his in that bathroom. How her recognition sealed both their fates. The elderly woman who saw his face had to die. Not out of malice, but out of the calculated logic of a criminal mind that valued $100 over human life. The details emerge with devastating clarity. How Audrey fought to the end, clutching her phone even as he knocked it from her grasp. How she turned her face away in those final seconds, unwilling to watch her own execution. How the sound of the gunshot echoed through the house like a death knell for both victim and perpetrator. Chen listens without emotion, her training masking the rage that burns beneath her professional facade. Every word Skinner speaks adds another link to the chain of evidence, another nail in the coffin of his freedom. John Skinner pleads guilty to second-degree murder and receives life in prison. The courtroom falls silent as the judge delivers the sentence, a life for a life. Though Audrey's stolen years can never be returned, never be lived, never contribute again to the world she served with dedication. The gun that killed Audrey disappears forever, thrown down a sewer or passed to other criminals, its deadly potential remaining an eternal mystery. But the shoes that betrayed their owner, become evidence Exhibit A, locked away in police storage as a testament to forensic science's unblinking eye. In the end, it wasn't DNA or fingerprints that solved the case. It was the most basic form of evidence, a footprint. 2 partial impressions in Aurora pink powder that linked a killer to his crime with scientific certainty. Audrey Nichols spent her career analyzing the aftermath of tragedy, never knowing she would become its centerpiece. But even in death, her case demonstrated the power of forensic science to speak for those who can no longer speak for themselves. The Spalding shoes that Skinner wore that October night became his downfall. In his desperation for easy money, he left behind the very evidence that would ensure justice. The invisible became visible. The forgotten became unforgettable. The forensic laboratory had become a cathedral of science, where technicians worked with religious devotion to extract truth from chaos. Each piece of evidence was a prayer, each test a sermon in the language of justice. When Michaud placed those transparent overlays over Skinner's shoes, the moment transcended simple comparison. It was a conversation between past and present, between the killer's arrogance and science's persistence. The psychological weight of the case bore down on everyone involved. Chen found herself haunted by Audrey's final moments, the terror of hearing footsteps approach, the desperate hope that help would arrive in time, the heartbreaking realization that it wouldn't. The discovery at Skinner's mother's house carried additional tragedy. A mother's love, carefully preserving her son's belongings, unknowingly preserving the evidence of his ultimate downfall. In trying to protect her child, she helped deliver justice for someone else's. The prison letter from Carl Headley represented a moment where the criminal underworld inadvertently served justice. Sometimes evil defeats itself through its own arrogance and criminals' inability to resist bragging about their exploits. In small-town Michigan, where nothing ever happens, science proved that every step a criminal takes leaves a trail, if you know how to look for it. Justice may be blind, but science sees everything. The case stands as testament to the power of patient, methodical investigation combined with cutting-edge forensic science. It proves that no crime is perfect, no criminal untouchable, when science and determination unite in pursuit of truth.